לחיים אם אתם אוהבים מסיבה לחיים אם אתם לא צריכים סיבה
By day, there are 3 kids at camp.
But also by day, there are 3 podcasters at camp.
Creating a podcast that will change the world.
Or at least make you laugh and make you think for the next 20 minutes or so.
It's going to be epic!
Sababa.
Hello, Camp Sababa. Welcome to the latest, greatest and homemadiest podcast where kids run the show that other kids can't wait to hear. I'm your host, Sarah, and to my left...
I'm another host. I'm Ilana. And to my left... Psst, Eli, you're on.
Oh, hi everyone, I'm Eli.
You'll have to forgive Eli. We're all a little distracted today because it's cheer day. That's the one day every summer where all the campers write Camp Sababa cheers. And the best one wins the whole competition and becomes our cheer for the year.
But that doesn't explain what Eli's doing. It looks like he's making some sort of machine, but what does that have to do with Camp Cheers?
Eli's one of this year's Cheer Day judges. I have so many questions.
I'm going to revolutionize the industry of cheer judgery. I've invented the Cheerometer 5000. It measures cheer volume, enthusiasm. Well, and I'm still working on the 3rd one.
Wow, I'm impressed, Eli. You were the one who thought up this podcast. You're the camp's resident inventor and the official cheer judge. You're a man of many hats.
And it's such a responsibility. I had to create the Cheerometer 5000 to make sure we can find the very best cheer, scientifically.
Every cabin here at Camp Sababa has been working on the fiercest, most creative cheer routines. Ilana, do you know what the big prize is for the winners?
They'll be competing for bragging rights and the coveted Camp Sababa trophy. I mean, it's a troll doll on a piece of wood painted gold, but it's epic. And the trophy goes to the team with the most epic cheer.
Actually, according to the official cheer judge rulebook, the cheers need to embody the spirit of Camp Sababa. And whatever that means for that cabin, I'm expecting thoughtful, high energy.
But also silliness and fun.
And also beautiful words that invoke the feeling of magical memories we make here each summer.
Yes, it's a serious challenge. I mean, how does anyone write something that can encompass all that is Camp Sababa? And I need to figure out the more important elements fast so I can program the right data into Cheerometer.
Maybe Sam, our roving reporter, could talk to the camp song leader about some tips and insight.
Great idea! I'll text that message over.
And while we wait for Sam to get in place, let's give a big cheer for today's 2 truths and a lie.
Hi, my name is Poppy, I am 8 years old and I am from London. Here are today's 2 truths and a lie. Number 1, before Israel officially became a state, there were several competitions to choose the national anthem and no one could agree what it should be. Number 2, the music and lyrics of the Hatikvah were written by Naomi Shulman. Number 3, but Hatikvah was the official song in the modern Zionist movement in the 1930s.
I have no clue which one is the lie. How cool, though, if it is true about the competition to find a national anthem. Makes me think of the Eurovision.
I would love to be a judge on Eurovision. It's so fun watching every year and trying to see why the countries have picked the bands or sing songs that they chose. Again, though, I have no idea how they begin to write a song to represent their country.
I feel you, Eli. Maybe Sam can help us figure this out with the camp song leader. Let's cut to Sam reporting live.
This is Sam, your roving reporter, coming to you live from the music room at Camp Sababa. And sitting here with me, strumming that guitar, is Julian Horowitz.
Hey, Sam, and shalom to all you podcast fans out there.
There's so much I want to ask you about music, about instruments, about songwriting.
Happy to help, Sam. You see, I'm not just the camp song leader, I'm also a performer with the Maccabeats.
Can you explain what you do?
The Maccabeats are an a cappella singing group based out of New York City. We also record a lot of music for YouTube, and we tour all around the world.
How did you get into being a performer with the Maccabeats?
The Maccabeats started as the undergraduate a cappella group at Yeshiva University, which is a Jewish college in Manhattan. A good friend of mine, Michael Greenberg, who wanted to give those of us who love the opportunity to sing an outlet to do so. And he told me they were starting a group. I tried out, and it's been a really fun ride. We originally just performed for ourselves. We performed at school events, but as people started to listen and enjoy, we decided that we had to share our music with the rest of the world as well.
And have you always been involved with music?
I've always loved to sing. We say the Maccabees started in many ways at the Shabbat table. I mean, we all grew up with the tradition of music in the synagogue and shul, and singing at the Shabbat table and singing at school performances. Some of us have more musical training than others. I'm the music director for the group. I read music, I write a lot of the music, but something that binds us all together is our love of music and singing, and we've had that with us from a young age.
What's your favorite song you've worked on with the Maccabees?
I think my favorite song is also my first love, and it's in many ways our signature piece. It's our Hallelujah mashed up with Lecha Dodi, and it's our tribute to Yeshiva University, where of course we combine the best of worldly knowledge and culture with our Jewish traditions. So this combines the lyrics from one of our most cherished prayers, the Lecha Dodi prayer, with a beautiful melody written by a fellow North American, Jewish-American singer, Leonard Cohen. So it's got to be the Lecha Dodi Hallelujah.
What's the hardest part about being a musician and performer?
The hardest part about being a musician is coming up with what you're going to do next. There's tremendous pressure to keep producing music, to keep writing songs, and sometimes a song comes together in a week, and sometimes it takes years. And there's really no way to define or describe the creative process in that way. It's tremendously fulfilling, and it's tremendously important, but it's also very difficult. Not going to sugarcoat it.
What inspires you to keep producing music?
There's nothing more inspiring to me than the fact that people are out there every day writing songs and producing music videos and creating all kinds of art. So whenever I'm in a rut, I'll just go and I'll listen to music for hours and hours, and I find that really helpful.
How would you describe Jewish music to someone who doesn't know much about it?
Jewish music is a lot like Jewish food in that we borrow and adapt from the cultures and people around us, and we make it our own. But it's also like Jewish food in that it isn't just one thing. It draws influences from around the world to create this delicious and crunchy experience. I think words you can apply both to food and music. That's really great.
What do you think about music coming out of Israel now?
Israeli music is more dynamic than ever. You have artists like Yishai Ribo who blend, I would say, Mizrahi music with French music, with piyut, traditional Jewish poetry, and they bring it around the world, even selling out. He recently sold out Madison Square Garden, which is amazing. You have traditional folks singing religious music. You have religious folks singing traditional music. It's really just an amazing melting pot and just a joy to listen to. The creative output of such a small country really just being remarkable.
Do you know how the song Hatikva came to be?
Yeah, Hatikvah was written as a poem in the late 19th century, and eventually that poem was set to the tune of a folk song, and it went, I don't know if they had this terminology in the 1800s, but it went, as we would say today, it went viral and just became extremely popular with the nascent Zionist movement. And I know there were a lot of options when Israel had to choose their national anthem. They held several competitions, but Hatikvah was something that was beloved. It was something that was known, and something that I think really encapsulated a lot of the dreams of the Zionist people and the Jewish people's return to their homeland, Israel.
I've heard some people that think Hatikva doesn't represent all the different people and views in Israel today. Is that true?
That's a great question. It's true that Hatikvah is a very old song, and it was written before Israel even became a country. So it doesn't reflect all of the changes and diversity that have happened in Israel since then. But it's still a very important song for many Israelis, and it's a symbol of hope and unity.
What do you think makes a good anthem?
I think an anthem needs to be inspiring, it needs to be unifying, it needs to be something that will bring people together in song. And of course, it needs to be catchy. You want it to be triumphant, and you want it to be inspiring and grand.
How did you think kids could get started with writing or performing their own music?
Something that the Maccabees do, which makes us unique is that we'll often base our music on other music that already exists. Now, that's often been described as derivative or as a parody, but even when we write original songs, there's still so many great musical ideas out there that we could borrow and adapt. So I think the first thing you need to do is you need to familiarize yourself with the language of music, with chord progressions, with different melodies, with different rhyme schemes, that kind of thing. So you really have to know music well before you start writing music. Anyone who wants to can be a musician, especially now with the advent of so many great software tools and easily affordable home studio equipment. Now is probably the easiest time in all of history to be a musician.
Can you tell us the most joyful part of your job?
Yeah, this is an easy one. The most joyful part of any musician's life is getting out there on stage for an encore and singing along with the crowd. Whether that crowd is 50 people or 5,000 people, there's nothing like that. It's better than presents on Hanukkah.
Thank you so much, Julian, for talking with me today.
Sam, this was great. Thank you so much. So long.
Now back to the guys in the studio.
Wow, thanks Sam, and thanks to our song leader. I feel so inspired to write my camp cheer right now. Okay, here goes. Camp Sababa, I like you more than Ali Baba. My favorite melon is Casababa. Did I do a decent jobber?
I guess writing a cheer is harder than it seems.
Hey, Jerusalem wasn't built in a day. Don't worry, Sarah. We can work on our camp cheer together. And I know our whole cabin will be up for helping too.
Okay, while you're busy writing an anthem, I'll go ahead with today's Kesher question. Kesher, the Hebrew word for connection, and a fun way to connect with kids all over. What makes a good anthem, national, camp, or otherwise?
My name is Eitan. I'm from Israel, from Modi'in. I'm 14 and a half.
My name is Orm. I'm from Tel Aviv, and I'm 14. The current anthem is showing the base of the country of Israel, because it all came from the kibbutz galuyot. But now, if you want to make it more inclusive, I can think we can add some lyrics about the people that live outside of Israel, but still feel as they are in a Jewish community, still live Jewish lives.
I think that if I would create an anthem for somewhat of a community, I would put traditions, and also values that the community serves, because it's what it's all about. And yeah.
My name is Tal. I'm from Ashkelon and I'm 15 years old. Me and my group, we're 7 in the group, and we write a song about the country. And the first thing that it was very important to us to write was that we are strong and that everything that happened for a reason, and anything we can pass it.
Hi, my name is Sarah, and I live in San Francisco, California. I think a national anthem needs to mean something to the people who sing it. America's anthem is saying, through war and through troubled times, our flag is still there. And that means that the people will help each other and stay together.
Wow, so many interesting ideas. It makes me think about how well Hatikvah captures the spirit of hope and perseverance.
Right, Hatikvah, which means hope in Hebrew, is all about resilience, determination, and building a future. The perfect theme for an anthem, wouldn't you say?
Yes, but remember what we were told about Hatikva. It's kind of like a camp cheer for the whole country. Here at Camp Sababa, we sing camp songs to celebrate friendships, teamwork, and the joy of being together with other kids every summer. But that community piece was the challenge for Hatikva. It was the perfect song for Zionist movement before Israel was a state. But now, Israel has grown to the place we know today. Some people feel that it doesn't do as good a job of representing all of Israel's population.
It would be a challenge to write something that represents everyone here at camp. It would have to include how we work together to build a strong camp community, overcome challenges, and celebrate all of the cultures that are represented here together.
Perfect! Just the key elements I need to program the cheerometer 5000 to find the best cheer. I just hope it's going to be ready in time. I just need a little more chewing gum to keep the wires together.
I think our Camp Sababa cheer can be about the hope we have every summer that our camp will come together and make it the best summer ever. I'm not sure how to turn that into a cheer, though.
Well, I know. Maybe Fox will have something that can help in this week's Botzing Around.
Well, I'm Fox from New Zealand, and I'm here to say I learned how to rhyme in a logical way. Writing an anthem or song can be tough. Just saying and thinking isn't always enough. I'll teach you a game, and that'll unlock the puzzle of writing cool checks and flexing those rhyming muscles. Okay, enough of that. Here's how the game works. First, you make up a simple rhyme in this format. It's like the dog without the cat, it's like a swing without a bat. Then, the next person takes the second half of the line and flips it around. So they'd say, it's like a bat without a swing, and then come up with a rhyme for that line, like, it's like a bird without a wing. Then, you keep going. It's like a wing without a bird, it's like a book without a word. It's like a word without a book, it's like a stove without a cook. Once you get moving, it's really fun, and then you'll be ready to write some original rhymes for your camp cheer, a poem, a song, or anything. Back to the team in the studio.
Thank you, Fox. Well, how was that, Sarah? Did that help with your cheer brainstorm? Sarah?
What? Sorry. Juices are flowing, fireworks are popping. I had an idea, and I want you both to help me. The Sababa podcast team needs to submit its own cheer.
What a great idea!
But I'm a judge. I can't be part of this. I have to be impartial.
You can still be impartial about the camp cheer and help us write a cheer about this podcast.
What? An official podcast cheer? Count me in.
Yes, okay, here's what I've got so far. Kids in the future, kids in the past, give it up for Camp Podcast. Shout it loud, shout it fast. Give a scream for Camp Podcast. Kids have fun on this broadcast, so raise the roof for Camp Podcast. It's a place for all represented at last on our awesome Camp Sababa podcast. Kids in the future, kids in the past.
Give it up for the Camp Podcast.
Shout it loud and shout it fast.
Give a scream for Camp Podcast.
Kids have fun in this broadcast.
So raise the roof for the Camp Podcast.
It's a place for all represented at last
on our awesome Camp Sababa podcast.
Woo!
The cheerometer 5000 loves it, and I do too. I'm really loving doing this with you guys.
Aw, see? Already this year is bringing people together. We better sign off and get cheering. Thanks for listening, listeners. Send us your good thoughts. Let's go win this thing.
Hi, this is Julian from the Maccabees, and this is our recording of Hatikva.
Hatikvah בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון ירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון
Before we go, the moment you've been waiting for, the answer to today's 2 truths and a lie. If you've been listening closely, you heard that there were several contests to come up with an anthem for Israel, not just one. And you heard that Hatikva was the anthem of the Zionist movement before Israel became a state. So that means number 2 is the lie. The Hatikva wasn't written by Naomi Shemer. Though she wrote lots of great anthems, it was actually based on a poem written by Naftali Imber in the 1800s and put to music by Shmuel Cohen. There's always time to laugh, learn, and live with us, your favourite hosts on the Camp Sababa podcast. See ya!
If you loved this episode, send your feedback to kids@opendormedia.org.
And don't forget to rate, subscribe, and share.
Thanks so much to everyone who helped to make our podcast. Our hosts, whose real names are
Maya, Nina, and Dean.
Our roving reporter, Sam.
Played in this episode by Esther.
Our activity director, Fox.
Played by Fox.
And our house band,
The Matza Boys. And a special thanks to the Macarites.
Our interview guest,
Julian Horowitz.
this week's Kesha Kids.
Poppy, that's me, Sarah, or Eitan.
Our show was produced and directed by Gemma Last and written by Gemma Last, Joe Hennis, and Fran Greenman-Schmitz. Our executive producer is Fran Greenman-Schmitz. Ben Kelly at Soho Sonic is our audio engineer and sound designer.
Credits read by John, Last, and Poppy. That's me.
Created for OpenDor Media with support from the Jim Joseph Foundation, Maimonides Fund, and Natan Fund.
Tune in next time to our amazing podcast.